All right, continuing 8.2, we're going to actually practice doing the GCF. So you see I've written the GCF out here already. So now what we want to do is we're going to physically write the quotients here because the quotients are what I have to put in to this binomial here. So I'm going to first of all put this plus right here in the middle so I get myself prepared to have two terms, and those two terms are coming from these quotients. So when I divide this out, I see that I'm just left with an x squared. And then when I divide this out, you see that I'm left with a 5. So my new product looks like 2 times x squared plus 5. And that is what it means to factor. And you can check that always because distributive property would see 2x squared, that's that first term, plus 2 times 5, which is 10. So that's what we mean by factoring. So now let's practice again. So this time I'm saying that the GCF is 3. And so you see I've written a plus and a minus here already, preparing it for the 1, 2, 3 terms that'll come from dividing each of these by 3. So I'll divide by 3 here, divide by 3 here, and divide by 3 here, and these will go into that place, and that place, and that place right there. So 3 will go into 15 5 times, so I have 5a squared b. And then 3 will go into 18 6 times, and so I have 6a. And then 3 will go into 21 7 times, and so I'll just have 7 right there. And now you see my new product. And that's what it means to factor. So I can always distribute it out and check and see if it equals the original one, and that tells me if I've done it correctly or not. Now this last one is a really special one. This one is a trick, and this is a trick we need in our bag of tricks to have. And that is to switch the signs of things. To switch the signs of things, we can factor out a -1. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to first of all say this is plus a -x or plus a -1x, however you want to do it. And I've factored out a -1. So now I'll say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say that I have the two terms here that I need. So I'm going to use one term here and one term over here. I need two terms, right? So I'm going to divide this one by a negative, which is going to give me a -y. Y divided by a -1, which is a -y, which I'm going to write over here as a subtract y. And then -x divided by a -1, you see that's going to give me a positive x. And now what I've done here is I've written a subtraction problem where the x is first and the y is second. And I did that by factoring out a -1. That's changing the signs of the terms. And that, again, is really important to be able to change the signs of the terms because we'll need that in some of our factoring strategies later. All right, now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do this all from scratch. So from scratch, what we have to do is we look at our three terms and we say, okay, what is the GCF of these? So I'm going to look at these and we can do the hard and fast rules that we discussed earlier, or we can just eyeball it. I'm going to eyeball it this time, right? There's a 4 in common with all of these, and then an x in common with all of these. That's my GCF. So I'm going to rewrite this as my GCF, 4x, and then I'm going to prepare to have a trinomial. My 1, 2, 3 terms separated by the signs, and then I'll divide. 4 goes into 8 2 times. X cubed divided by x is x squared. 4 goes into 4 1 time, so I won't write 1. X goes into x squared, x times. 4 goes into 12 3 times, and x's cancel essentially. And there's my new product. All right, we'll do it one more time. So we have, looking at this one across here, we'll look for the GCF. So looking at the GCF, I have 3 in common with all of these. I have an A in common with all of these, and I have a B in common with all of these. So that's my GCF. So I'll rewrite this as 3AB, and then I'll prepare to have a trinomial with a plus and a minus, and I have a term, and a term. And so now I divide. 3 goes into 27 9 times. A squared divided by A is A. The b's cancel. 3AB goes into 3AB 1 time. 3 goes into 9 3 times. The a's cancel. B goes into B squared B times. And now we have a